and bring the cameras up, and welcome to another Sunday edition of Accessibly Live Book Club Reading Room. How's everyone doing? Starting off right away, thank you all for stopping in to see and enjoy Nosferatu last weekend. I appreciate it. I'm glad you liked it. Something different for the show. We do books, public domain books, the last couple of years. And for me, this is something I wanted to do for a long time and finally had the chance to do it. There is not a lot in movies that are in public domain right now. And I want to take the opportunity to give you guys something different, something fun, something most of you have never watched a silent movie before. And I appreciate it. I appreciate you enjoying it. And I know my executive producer just came in thinking that I'm not on the air, but I am on the air. Yeah. And we are, it's been one of those weeks where making sure that we have a good executive producer on hand to keep an eye on the show. So I'm glad you guys are watching and glad you guys have been enjoying the show. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. We always remind you that when you get a chance to always like and subscribe to the channel, because without you guys, I'm just some crazy old guy reading books. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. I am a crazy old guy reading books. Oh, no. Tonight, we are doing something also a little old, something different tonight. We are reading the first part of Hesiod's Theogony. Now, Hesiod was a brilliant writer back in the days of the ancient Greeks. Hesiod was born around 776 BC. He was known as the father of didactic poetry and wrote about life in Greece through epic poetry. Now, epic poetry is considered story-length poems. Shakespeare has done a few of those, but these are complete stories that Hesiod wrote while living in all right, sorry about that, guys. Damn it. Yeah, fuck. All right. Sorry about that, guys. We are getting back on track. Hit the wrong button this week and had a little bit of an echo. Sorry about that. Took my executive producer a little bit of time to catch that. So we are back on normal track and back on normal sound, I believe. Yep. Anyway, oh well, it's one of those things. Screw up once in a while. That is the problem with doing this thing live. Be grateful I'm not watching it live. We I'm excited about this. Theogony, as I mentioned, written by Hesiod, he felt he was given this ability by the Muses. The Muses are the offspring of the gods. And in here, you can see basically the timeline of the gods. Chaos at the beginning, Gaia, Earth, Eros, Erebus, Tartarus, both Gaia and Uranus, both getting together and creating a multitude of monsters. Cyclops, Kronos, and Rhea got together. And all of these, all the way down the line to the gods most of you will recognize on the lower part of the chart. Demeter, Zeus had Persephone, let's say Zeus and Hera, Ares, Hebe, and Hephaestus, the sons and daughters of Zeus and Hera. As we know from the stuff that we've seen on television, the things lately, last few years, we've seen a lot of stories being told both in books and in television about the Greek gods. Um, Most of you have seen one version or the other of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. They have a new series occurring on Disney Channel, Disney Plus, and you go back about 7, 8 years to when the first Percy Jackson movie came out in the theaters. It was a lot of fun, and it was interesting seeing how Camp Half Blood came to be with those children of the gods and human women. Very interesting. Um, or you know, men or women, humans, and it's fun hearing the stories from the main point of view from somebody who grew up in the shadows of Mount Helicon, which is in Greece, where they're said to be the home of the Muses. It's interesting. And this will be an interesting read. Now, we're not going to do the entire Theogony. We're going to do part one tonight and probably finish it up next Sunday or whenever you guys are watching this. But let's get started with Theogony, Tales of the Greek Gods. And yes, we may butcher one name or two. C'est la guerre. Theogony. From the Helicon Muses, let us begin to sing, who hold the great and holy mount of Helicon, and dance on soft feet about the deep blue spring and the altar of the mighty son of Cronos. And when they have washed their tender bodies in Promiscuous, or in the horse's spring, or Almius, make their fair, lovely dance upon highest Helicon, and move with vigorous feet. Thence they arise and go abroad, by night veiled in thick mist, and utter their song with lovely voice, praising Zeus, the Aegeus holder, and queenly Hera of Argos, who walks on golden sandals, and the daughter of Zeus, the Aegeus holder, bright-eyed Athena, and Phobos, Apollo, and Artemis, whose delights in arrows, and Poseidon, the earth holder, who shakes the earth, and revered Themis, and quick glancing Aphrodite, and Hebe, with the crown of gold, and fair Dion, Leto, Apetus, and Kronos, the crafty counselor, Eos, and great Helios, and the bright Selene, earth too, and great Oceanus, and the dark night, and the holy race of all other deathless ones that are forever. And one day they taught Hesiod glorious song, while he was shepherding his lambs under holy Helicon. And this word first the goddesses said to me, the muses of Olympus, daughters of Zeus, who holds the Aegeus. Shepherds of the wilderness, wretched things of the shame, mere bellies, we know how to speak many false things as though they were true, but we know when we will to utter true things. So said the ready-voiced daughters of great Zeus, and they plucked and gave me a rod, a shoot of sturdy laurel, a marvelous thing, and breathed into me a divine voice to celebrate things that shall be and things that were aforetime. And they bade me sing of the race of the blessed gods, that are eternally but ever to sing themselves, both first and last. But why all this about oak and stone? Come thou, let us begin with the Muses, who gladden the great spirit of their father Zeus in Olympus, for their songs telling of things that are, and that shall be, and that are aforetime, with consenting voice. Unwearing flows the sweet sound of their lips, and the house of their father Zeus, the loud thunderer, is glad at the lily like voice of the goddesses, as it spreads abroad, and the peaks of snowy Olympus resound, and the homes of the immortals, and they, uttering their immortal voice, celebrate in song first of all the reverend race of the gods, from the beginning, whom earth and wide heaven begot, and the gods sprung of these, givers of good things. And next, the goddesses sing of Zeus, the father of gods and men, as they begin and end their strain. How much he is the most excellent among the gods, and supreme in power. And again they chant the race of men and strong giants, and gladden the heart of Zeus within Olympus, the Olympian muses, daughters of Zeus the Aegeus holder. Them in Perea did Mnemosyne memory, who reigns over the hills of Eleuthor, bear a union with the father, the son of Cronos, a forgetting of ills and a rest of sorrow. For 9 nights did wise Zeus lie with her, entering her holy bed remote from the mortals. And when a year had passed and the seasons came round, the months waned, and many days were accomplished, she bare 9 daughters, all of one mind, whose hearts are set upon song, and their spirit free from care, a little way from the topmost peak of snowy Olympus. There are their bright dancing places, and the beautiful homes, and beside them the graces and dire live in delight. They lay, and they, uttering through their lips a lovely voice, sing of the laws of all and goodly ways of the immortals, uttering their lovely voice. Then they to Olympus, delighting in their sweet voice with heavenly song, and the dark earth surround of them as they enchanted, and a lovely sound rose up beneath their feet as they went to their father. And he was reigning in heaven himself, holding the lightning and the glowing thunderbolt, when he had overcome by might his father Cronos, and he disturbed fairly the immortals their portions, and declared their privileges. These things then the muses sang, who dwell on Olympus, 9 daughters begotten by great Zeus, Clio, Eurypete, Thalia, Melopone, Terap- uh, Terpsichore, Enurato, Polyhemone, and Urania, and Calliope, who is the chiefest of them all, for she attends on worshipful princes, whomsoever the heaven nourished princes, the daughters of great Zeus, honor and behold him at his birth. They pour sweet dew upon his tongue, and from his lips flow gracious words. All the people look towards him when he settles causes with true judgments, and he, speaking surely, would soon make wise end even of the great quarrel. For therefore there are princes wise in heart, because when the people are being misguided in their assembly, they set right the matter again with ease, persuading them with gentle words. And when he passes through a gathering, they greet him as a god with gentle reverence, and he is conspicuous among the assembled. Such is the holy gift of the Muses to men. For it is through the Muses and far shooting Apollo that there are singers and harpers upon the earth, but princes of Zeus. And happy is he whom the Muses love. Sweet flows speech from his mouth. For though a man have sorrow and grief in his newly troubled soul, and live in dread because his heart is distressed, yet when a singer, the servant of the Muses, chants the glorious deeds of men of old and the blessed gods who inhabit Olympus, at once he forgets his heaviness and remembers not his sorrow at all, but all the gifts of the goddess is soon turn him away from these. Hail, children of Zeus! Grant lovely song and celebrate the holy race of the deathless gods, who are forever those who are born of earth and starry heaven and gloomy night, and tell them that briny sea did rear. Tell how at the first gods and earth came to be, and rivers and the boundless sea, with the raging swells and the gleaming stars, and the wide heaven above, and the gods who were born of them, givers of the good things, and how they divided their wealth, and how they shared their honors amongst them, and how and also how the first they took manyfold Olympus. These things declare to me from the beginning, ye muses who dwell in the house of Olympus, and tell me which of them first came to be. Verily, at these chaos came to be, but next wide bosomed earth, the ever sure foundations of all the deathless ones who hold the peaks of snowy Olympus and dim Tartarus in the depth of the wide path earth, and Eros, fairest among the deathless gods, who unnerves the limbs and overcomes the minds and wise counsel of all gods and all men within them. From chaos came forth Erebus and black night, but then of night were born Aether and Day, whom she conceived and bare from union in love with Erebus. The earth first bare starry heavens, equal to herself, to cover her on every side, and to be an ever sure abiding place for the blessed gods. And she brought forth long hills, graceful haunts of the goddesses' nymphs, whose dwell among the glens of the hills. She bears also the fruitless depth with the raging swell, Pontus with sweet union of love. But afterwards she lay with heaven and bare deep swirling Oceanus, Coos, Cirrus, and Hyperion, and Apatius, Thea, Rhea, Themius, Menacene, and golden crowned Phoebe, and the lovely Thais. After them was born Cronos, the wily, youngest and most terrible of her children, and he hated his lusty sire. And again, she bears Cyclopes, overbearing in spirit, Brontus, Steropes, stubborn-hearted Argus, who gave Zeus the thunder and made the thunderbolt. In all else they were like the gods, but one eye only was set in the middle of their foreheads. And they were surnamed Cyclops, because one orbed eye was set in their foreheads. Strength and might and craft were in their works. And again, three other sons were born of earth and heaven, great and doughty beyond telling, Cottus, but I also and Gaius, presumptuous children. From their shoulders sprang 100 arms, not to be approached, and each had 50 heads upon shoulders on their strong limbs. And irresistible was their stubborn strength that was in the great forms. For all the children were that were born of earth and heaven, these are the most terrible. They were hated by their own father from the first. And he used to hide them all away in a secret place of earth, so soon as each was born, and would not suffer them to come up unto the light. And heaven rejoiced in his evil doing, but vast earth groaned within, being straitened, and she made the element of gray flint, and shaped the great sickle, and told her plan to her dear sons. And she spoke, cheering them, while she was vexed in her own dear heart. My children, gotten of the sinful father, if you will obey me, we shall punish the vile outrage of your father, for he first thought of doing shameful things. So she said, but fear seized them all, and none of them uttered a word. But great Cronos, the wily, took courage and answered his dear mother, Mother, I will undertake to do this deed, for I reverence not our father of evil name, for he had first thought of doing shameful things. So he said, and vast earth rejoiced greatly in spirit, and set and hid in him in ambush, and put in his hands a jagged sickle, and revealed to him the whole plot. Then heaven came bringing on night, and longing for love, and he lay about earth, spreading himself full upon her. Then the sun from his ambush stretched forth his left hand, and his right took the great long sickle with jagged teeth, and swooped loft off his own father's members, and cast them away to fall behind him. And not vainly did they fall from his hands, for the bloody drops that gushed forth on earth received, and the seasons moved her bare the strong Eridanus and the great giants with gleaming armor, holding long spears in their hands, and the nymphs who call the Malay, all of the boundless earth. And so soon as he was cut off the members with flint, cast them from the land in surging sea, they were swept away over the main a long time, and a white foam spreading around them from immortal flesh, and in it grew a maiden. First she drew near holy Cythera, and from there afterwards she came to Secret Cyprus, and came forth an awfully and lovely goddess, and the grass grew up about her beneath her shapely feet. Her gods and men called Aphrodite, and the foam born goddess, and the rich crown Cytherea, because she grew amid the foam, and Cytherea because she reached Cythera, and Cypargus because she was born in the billowy Cyprus, and Philomonidas because sprang from the members. And with her went Eros, and comely Desire followed her at the birth, at the first, and she went into the assembly of the gods. This honor she has from the beginning, and this is the portion allotted to her amongst men and undying gods. The whispering of maidens and smiles, and deceits with sweet delight, and love and graciousness. But these sons, whom he begot himself, great heaven, used to call Titans, in reproach for the said they strained and did presumptuously fear deed, and that vengeance for it would come afterwards. and night bear hateful doom and black fate and death, and she bears sleep and the tribes of dream. And again the goddess murky night, though she lay with none, bear blame and painful woe, and the Hesperides, who guard the riches, golden apples, and the trees bearing fruit beyond glorious ocean. She also bare the destinies and the ruthless avenging fates, Clotho, Latius, and Atropos, who give men at their birth both evil and good to have, and they pursue the transgressions of men and gods. And these goddesses never cease from their dread anger until they punish the sinner with a sore penalty. And deadly night bear Nemesis to afflict mortal men, and after her deceit and friendship, and hateful age, and hard-hearted strife. But abhorred strife bear painful toil, and forgetfulness, and famine, and tearful sorrows, fightings also, battles, murders, manslaughters, quarrels, lying words, disputes, lawlessness, and ruin, all of one nature, and oath who most troubles men upon the earth, when anyone wilfully swears a false oath. And C begat Nereus, the eldest of his children, who is true and lies not, and men call him the old man, because he is trusty and gentle, and does not forget the laws of righteousness, but thinks just and kindly thoughts. And yet again he got great Thamos and proud Prophius, being mated with earth, and fair-cheeked Sato and Eurbia, who has a heart of flint within her. And of Nereus and rich-haired Doris, daughter of Ocean, the perfect river, were born children, passing lovely amongst the goddesses, Pluto, Euracane, Sao, Amphitrite, Eurado, and Thetis, Gallinae, Glasso, Simanthiae, Spio, Theo, and the lovely Hali, and Pasthea, and Arato, and rosy-armed Eunice, and Grace Melite, and Euthamina, and Agino, Dodo, Proto, Therasios, Dynamine, and Nicaea, and Actia, and Protos, Doris, Apania, comely Galatia, and the lovely Hippothea, and the rosy-armed Hipponia, and Chimondus, and with Similitologe, and Amaphorite easily calms the waves upon the misty sea, and the blasts of raging winds, and Simo and Aenon, and rich-crowned Alamede, and Glasomino, fond of laughter, and Propatoio, Lejoro, Iragoro, Leomedia, Polymeno, Autumnonio, and Lesiania, and Nerio, lovely in shape and without blemish of form, and Samanthia, of charming figure, and divine Menopia, Niso, Europima, Themato, Prono, and Nemaratius, who has the nature of her deathless father. These 50 daughters sprang from blameless Nereus, skilled in excellent crafts. And Thamos wedded Electra, the daughter of deep-flowing ocean, and she bare him swift Iris, and long-haired Harpies, a Leo and Oxypetus, who on their swift wings kept pace with the blasts of the winds and the birds, for quick as time they darted along. And again, Sato bare to Theramus the fair cheeked Grea, sisters gray from their birth, both deathless gods and men who walk the earth call them Grea, Pemaphodoro, well clad, and saffron robed Enyo, and the Gorgons, who dwell beyond the glorious ocean in the frontier land towards night, where are the clear voiced Hesperids, Cenono, Uriel, and Medusa, who suffered a woeful fate, who suffered as she was a mortal, but the two were undying and grew not old. With her lay dark haired one, in a soft meadow among spring flowers. And when Perseus cut off her head, there sprang forth the great Sarayo and the horse Pegasus, whom is so called because he was born near the springs of ocean, and other because he held a golden blade in his hands. Now Pegasus flew away and left the earth, and the mother of flocks, and came to the deathless gods, and he dwells in the house of Zeus, and brings the wise Zeus the thunder and the lightning. But Cryasio was joined in love to Calareo, the daughter of glorious ocean, and begot 3-headed Geranios. Him mighty Hercules slew in Sigrid Erythia by his shambling oxen on the day when he drove the wide-browed oxen to holy Tyrannus, and had crossed the ford of ocean and killed Othrys and Eurasiation, the herdsman in the dim steed out beyond glorious ocean. In the hollow cave she bare another monster, irresistible, in no wise like either to mortal men or to the undying gods. Even the goddess fierce Echinida, who is half a nymph and glancing eyes and fair cheeks, and half again a huge snake, great and awful, with speckled skin, eating raw flesh beneath the secret parts of the holy earth. And there she had a cave deep under a hollow rock, far from the deathless gods and mortal. There then did the gods appoint her a glorious house to dwell in, and she keeps guard in Arima beneath the earth, grim Echinida, a nymph who dies not nor grows old all her days. Men say that Typhon, the terrible, outrageous, and lawless, was joined in love to her, and the maid with the glancing eyes, and so she conceived and brought forth fierce offspring. First she bare Orthus, the hound of Geranus, and then she bare a second, a monster not to be overcome, and that may not be described. Cerberus, who eats raw flesh, the brazen voiced hound of Hades, 50-headed, relentless, and strong. And again she bore a third, the evil minded Hydra of Lerna, whose the goddess white armed Hera nourished, being angry beyond measure with the mighty Hercules. And her Hercules, the son of Zeus, of the house of Amphitryon, together with warlike Aeolus, destroyed with the unpitying sword through the plains of Athene, the spoil driver. She was the mother of Chimera, who breathed raging fire, a creature fearful, great, swift-footed, and strong, whom had 3 heads, and one of a grim-eyed lion. In her hinder part, a dragon, and in the middle a goat, breathing forth the fearful blast of blazing fire. her did Pegasus and noble Bellerophon slay, but Echinida was subject to in love to Orthus and brought forth the deadly Sphinx, which destroyed the Cadmeans and Nemean lion, which Hera, the good wife of Zeus, brought up and made to haunt the hills of Nemea to plague men. There he preyed upon the tribes of her own people, and the power over Tratus of Neama and Appius, yet the strength of stout Hercules overcame him. And Ceto, who was joined in love to Phosphorus, bare her youngest, an awful snake who guards the apples of all the golden secret places of the earth at its greatest bounds. This is the offspring of Ceto and Phorcys. And Theus bare to ocean eddying rivers, Nilus, Alpheus, and the deep swirling Ariandus, Strymon, Meander, and the far stream of Esther, and Phaeus, and Rheus, and the silver eddies of Achilles, Nessus, and Rhodius, Halimachon, Hepatorophus, Granius, and Aphius, and holy Simus, and Pius, and Hermanus, and Caius, and fair stream, and great Sangrius, laden Parthanius, Ennius, Oranius, and divine Scaramander. Also she brought forth the holy company of daughters, whom with the Lord Apollo and the rivers have youths in keeping. To this charge Zeus appointed them Pethio and Amandi, Iondo, Electra, and Doris, Primano and Urania, divine in form, Hapo, Clymenia, Rhodia, Calario, Zaxios, Clyeti, Idia, and Pathios, Claxoria, and the lovely Dion, Meliobous, Tho, and the handsome Polydora, Cerseus, lovely of form and soft-eyed Pluto, Perseus, Aeonria, Castrius, Xaneth, Petria the fair, Mencestor and Europa, Metis and Eurynomy, and Telesto, saffron-clad Clysius, and Asia and charming Calypso, Eudora and Tycho, Amphorio, Acario, and Styx, who is the chiefest among them all. These are the eldest daughters that sprang from Ocean and Thysus. Hey guys. But there are many besides. For there are 3,000 neat ankled daughters of Ocean, who are dispersed far and wide, and in every place alike serve the earth and the deep waters, children who are glorious among goddesses. And as many other rivers there are, babbling with the flow, sons of Ocean, whom Queen Tethany bare, but their names it is hard for mortal men to tell. But people know these by which they severely dwell. And Thea was subject to the love of Hyperion, and bare great Helios, the sun, and clear Selene, the moon, and Eos, dawn, who shines upon all that are on the earth, and upon the deathless gods who live in the wide heavens. And Eurybia, bright goddess, was joined in love to Ceres, and bare great Astereos, and Palos, and Persis, who also was eminent among all men in wisdom. And Eros bare to Astrios the strong hearted winds, brightening Zephyrus and Boreas, headlong in course, and Notus, the goddess mating in love with a god. And after these, Erangia bare the star Espherosus, and gleaming stars with great heaven is crowned. In Styx, the daughter of Ocean, was joined in Palla and bare Zealous, and trim ankled Nike, and in house. And she brought forth Kratos and Baia, wonderful children. These have no house apart from Zeus, nor any dwelling nor path except that wherein gods lead them. But they dwell always with Zeus, the loud thunderer. And so did Styx, the deathless daughter of Ocean, plan on a day when the Olympian lightener called all the deathless gods to great Olympus, and she that whoever the gods would fight with him with the Titans, he would not cast him out from his rights, but each should have office which had before among the deathless gods. And he declared that he was without office and rights under Kronos, should be raised to both office and rights as is just. So deathless Styx came first to Olympus with her children through the wit of dear father, and Zeus honored her and gave her very great gifts. For her he appointed to be the great oath of the gods, and her children to live with him always. And as he promised, so he performed fully unto them. But he himself mightily reigns and rules. Again, Phoebe came to desire embrace Ceos, the goddess, though through the love of the god, conceived and brought forth dark gowned Leto, always mild and kind to men, and to the deathless gods, mild to the beginning, gentlest in all Olympus. She also bare Asteria, of happy name, who Perseus once led to his great house to be called his dear wife. And he conceived and bare Hecate, who Zeus, the son of Cronos, honored above all. He gave her splendid gifts to have a share of the earth and the unfruitful sea. She received honor also in the starry heavens, and is honored exceedingly by the deathless gods. For to this day, whenever one of the men on earth offers rich sacrifices and prays for favor according to custom, he calls upon Hecate. Great honor comes fully easily to him who prays the goddesses receives favorably, and she bestows wealth upon him, for the power surely is with her. For as many as were born of earth and ocean, amongst these she has her due portion. The son of Cronos did her no wrong, nor took anything away from all was her portion among the former Titan gods. But she holds, as the division was first from the beginning, privilege both in earth and in heaven and in sea. Also, because she was an only child, the goddess receives not less honor, but much more still, for Zeus honors her, whom she will greatly aids and advances. She sits by worshipful kings in judgment, and in the assembly, whom she will be distinguished among. Sorry, guys. Voice is going. Forgot water. Haha. Um, and when men arm themselves for battle that destroys men, then the goddess is at hand to give victory and grant glory to whom she will. Good is she also when men contend to the games, for there too the good goddess is with them and profits them. And he who by might and strength gets the victory wins the rich prize easily with joy and brings glory to his parents. And she is good to stand by horsemen, whom she will, and to those whom business is in the gray, discomfortable sea, and who pray to Hecate and the loud crashing earth shaker. Easily the glorious goddess gives great catch, and easily takes it away as soon as is seen. For if she wills, she is good in the briar with Hermes to increase the stock, the droves of kin and wide herds of goats and flocks of fleecy sheep. If she will, she increases from a few or makes many to be less. So then, I'll bet her mother's only child. She is honored among all the deathless gods. And the son of Cronos made her a nurse of the young, who after that day saw with their eyes the light of all seeing dawn. So from them, the beginning, she is the nurse of the young, and these are her honors. A little bit more here. But Rhea was subject in love to Cronos and bare splendid children, Hestia, Demeter, the gold-haired Hera, and strong Hades, pitiless in heart, who dwells under the earth, and the loud crashing earth shaker, and wise Zeus, father of gods and men, by whose thunder the wide earth is shaken. These great Cronos swallowed, as each came forth from the womb to his mother's knee, with the intent that no other of the proud sons of heaven should hold the kingly office amongst the deadless God. For he learned from earth and starry heaven that he was destined to be overcome by his own son, strong though he was, through the contriving of great Zeus. Therefore he kept no blind outlook, but watched and swallowed down his children, and unceasing grief seized Rhea. But when she was about to bear Zeus, the father of the gods and men, then she besought her own dear parents, earth and starry heaven, to devise some plans with her that might the birth of her dear child might be concealed, and that retribution might overtake great crafty Cronos for his own father, and also for the children whom he had swallowed down. They were readily heard and obeyed their dear daughter, and told all that was destined to happen touching Cronos the king and his stout-hearted son. So they sent her to Lytus, to the rich land of Crete, when she was ready to bear great Zeus, the youngest of her children. Him did vast earth receive from Rhea in wide Crete to nourish and bring up. Hither came earth, carrying him swiftly through the black night to Lycidas first, and took him in her arms, and hid him in a remote cave beneath the secret places of holy earth, on thick Mount Aegeum. But to the mightily ruling Son of Heaven, the earlier king of the gods, she gave a great stone wrapped in swaddling clothes. Then it then he took it in his hands and thrust it down into his belly. Wretch, he knew not in his heart that in place of the stone, his son was left behind, unconquered and untroubled, and that he was soon overcome by forces of might and drive him from this honors himself to reign over the deathless gods. That is part one of Theogony, Tales of the Greek Gods. Next week, we will continue with Theogony, written by the Greek writer Hesiod. And we'll talk a little bit more about Hesiod next week as well. Like I said, I want to give you guys something a little bit different. Last week, we gave you an original vampire story. Well, albeit coming from the coming from the pen of that gave us the original Dracula. But I'm glad you liked. I hope you liked the Greek gods, and I hope you guys kept count on how many times I butchered some of those Greek names. There was plenty. There was plenty in that part of the story. It gets easier as the story goes on, and be more story and less of the Greek names. And it was fun. And I lost count on how many times I mispronounced a few things here and there. I'm lucky. I have some good people to keep an eye on me when I'm mispronouncing a few things. I got my good producer out here, executive producer out here, keeping an eye on me. Thankful for her that she helped me straighten out my sound early in the beginning of the program tonight. We are going to get ready to get out of here like we do every week. We do a final quote, similar to what we do on the Thursday night shows. And this one is a really good quote from the legendary sci-fi author Ray Bradbury. And Ray Bradbury was undoubtedly a genius when he came to his writing. Anything you dream is fiction, and anything you accomplish is science. The whole history of mankind is nothing but science fiction. Think about that, guys. Anything you dream is fiction, and anything you accomplish is science. The whole history of mankind is science fiction. Email right here. Give me a yell. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Accessibly Live, the book club reading room. Every Sunday night, live on Twitch at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and on replay here on YouTube. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. And don't forget, we appreciate it if you get a chance to like and subscribe. We get ready to get out of here tonight. I am Joel K. This is Accessibly Live, the book club reading room. This is the second of two channels and programs that we do here on Twitch and on YouTube. This one we get onto YouTube on a regular basis. The other one we keep normally on Twitch as well, solo. The Thursday night show, if you want to tune in on Twitch, is the Conversation Station. A little bit of talk, a little bit of conversation, some bad humor, and just an hour to pass the time away. Or maybe a little bit longer. Email, like I said, give me a yell. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know where you guys are watching. We're going to get out of here. Take care, all. Thank you all very much for stopping in. I appreciate it. Be well, be safe, be kind. Keep your eyes out when you guys, those who are in school, with all the things going on next week with voting and the uncertainty. Remember the golden rule once in a while, because it does work. And remember, there was no exceptions when it was created. I am Joel K. This is Accessibly Live, the book club reading room. Be well, be safe, be kind. We will see you all next week with part 2 of Hesiod's Theogony here on Accessibly Live. Good night, all.